Hi, I'm Syeda Jafri for RUSD Bridge, and on this episode, we have Georgia Floyd Morris Elementary School Principal Mrs. Karla Guzman joining us, along with Mr. Thomas Vasta. He is the Instructional Support Strategist for the district, and actually for Morris Elementary School. So thank you for being here, Mr. Vasta, and of course, thank you. Glad to see you again, Mrs. Guzman. I do want to get to it because this is why you're here in studio. The California Green Ribbon Schools Gold Level Award for the state. California Department of Education for Environmental Science and Environmental Literacy. I'm going to start with you, Principal Guzman. How excited do you feel?
I'm extremely excited, Syeda. It's a great accomplishment, a great achievement that was not done overnight. It has taken some work with a lot of effort and time, and but I'm extremely excited. I can't wait to celebrate with our kids, our community, our families. When this is all over, we are going to celebrate big.
Absolutely, and in this pandemic, as you know, the rest of the nation, along with our school district, has to look at some guidelines, rules, regulations that we have to follow from the state and federal law. But we have time to celebrate a little later on, but we're going to do it because it is a big accomplishment. Mr. Vasta, tell us about your role in this California Green Schools Award, this gold level, because I know in the past we received silver for Morris Elementary School as well, right?
Yes. Okay. So I guess been a pretty
interesting ride, huh?
Yes, it's been a very interesting ride, and I played a big part in the writing of the application of the school application for the state for this
green ribbon.
For this green ribbon,
right?
And I just it's been a big journey, and you know to listen to Mrs. Guzman talk about, well, it's not just something you just pick up and I got it overnight.
Right.
It's something that you really have to, you just have to start understanding, okay, really what is all of this? What are the three pillars that we're focusing on for our school site, which are the three pillars?
Yeah, what were your three pillars?
So our three pillars, what we did is we sat down together and made an acronym.
And what is the acronym? Okay,
so the acronym is RIO, and it means that we're trying to, and let me just give you a little side note.
Of course.
We put this out to our students in a big assembly. Okay. And we wanted to, because if the students don't understand what you're trying to do, what the purpose of this whole environmental literacy thing is, I mean, how are they going to be able to come in here and
what good
talk
is
to
it?
you,
Absolutely.
right? And say, oh, well, this is what we're doing, or talk to anybody that visits our school, you know. And so it's really exciting to see them talk about it. But what we did is we put the RIO concept out there.
So it's called RIO, not RIO.
Rio,
like
Rio,
the city.
Like the city.
Great.
And so the R, it's an acronym, so it stands for reducing our environmental impact.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. So that's a big concept just in itself. The I is for
improving health and wellness.
Improving our health and wellness.
Okay.
And that's really big. I mean, especially in PBIS. And our O is offering a sustainable education.
Wonderful.
You know, so
you're tying all of that together into your environmental curriculum.
Yes.
Oh, wow. And this is for K-5 or?
Yeah, preschool is a part of it too.
Okay.
So we have a preschool on campus. We have our dual immersion classes as well, but they all partake into our sciences, but not only that, our environmental literacy as well.
So talk a little bit about your classrooms, because I visited your campus at Morris Elementary School, and you have outside garden, obviously outside gardens, but there's classroom instruction happening outside in a beautiful green environment.
Yes.
How does that become just such a reality? Like you said, it doesn't happen overnight. So how did you guys work on that?
It doesn't happen overnight. And I'll tell you, Brian Montez, our grounds, I think he's our supervisor, right?
Yeah.
And Juanita Chan, they've been just a big help in putting a lot of this together. Brian, he had his crew come out and help the children learn how to plant trees, right? We built an outdoor classroom.
Right.
Where it's an outdoor 8,000 square foot outdoor learning environment where students go out there with the teachers and
it's beautiful.
And just learn out there. But it's Juanita also this last year that came to us and said, hey, what do you think about these annual themes for each grade level? So, and it's kind of part of the common lab that we do in our science curriculum. But for the theme for the year, for third grade, for instance, is holy moly, roly poly.
I
Right?
like that.
So we're talking about
Very catchy.
invertebrates and invertebrates, right? And so it's something that the teachers at our school site at the grade levels made posters for each theme for their grade level. Wow. And each teacher now has it up in their classroom. And throughout the year, when they teach something from Wonders or a math lesson or whatever, they can refer back to this poster and say, hey,
holy moly,
Yes.
roly poly.
I'm
These
sorry, I'm
invertebrates.
using my hands a
No,
lot.
it's
but-
great. You're a teacher, we know.
Yes, I
You're
know,
going
I'm
to use
like-
your hands. That's a great thing. It's good. Interaction. So you've implemented the Rio.
Yes.
You start the application process, and I think last year, the year before, you guys got silver level at
Yes.
Morris Elementary School. I know that the state superintendent of public instruction, just 3 months in, already visited Morris Elementary School.
Yes.
That would be Mr. Thurman. And Dr. Avalar, superintendent, was there along with the Board of Education. A lot of people were so impressed with Morris Elementary School. And a lot of credit goes to our nutrition services for the planting of, the gardens. And then you have, like you mentioned, the grounds department coming in with, and I know that Mr. Montez and the entire grounds department built a garden in all of our 19 elementary schools. And we'll have him on the show later on as well. So much goes into it. But the instructional piece, which is, of course, the most important piece, your nucleus of all the schools, the classroom teacher. When you're talking about an outdoor classroom, what is the feedback that you're getting as a principal? What is the feedback you're getting as a right-hand person for Green Schools on how the students are learning? Is it a different environment? How is it better? How is it, a struggle? Is it a challenge? Is it an opportunity?
It can be a challenge. It's a new way. Mr. Vasta talked about the outdoor classroom, and it was built towards the end of last year. So this year was actually the year that we really created a schedule, if I can say, of just, okay, when is this classroom going to come out? When, how often are we coming out? Now, if it also depends on that weather too. Beginning of the year, is it too hot? Is it raining? Whatever it may be. But one of the things we want to do is to make sure that we are encouraging our teachers to teach outside of the classroom. And that could be in an outdoor classroom, but don't forget that we also have planterns. Every teacher and every student in that school also adopts a garden right in front of their classroom. So oftentimes you see the teachers coming out, teaching a few lessons outside in the garden or in the outdoor classroom. There's tables, there's like a stadium seat. I've posted some schedules for the teachers where I want them one to two times a week at least coming out, and then they can do a reading lesson, a simple read aloud, just baby steps, because for them it's also new, is to bring that out, that indoor type of teaching outside. So
Now,
that's where we're at.
thank you. And then when district officials in Rialto Unified School District, when our Board of Education came out with then the president of CSBA, California School Board Association, she had gone to Morris Elementary School and wrote down how marvelous and absolutely beautiful and innovative this place is. And she was talking about your outside classroom. And I know Mr. Vasta was there and you were there to graciously be hosts and show them around. How proud does that make you feel of being a part of the Morris Mountain Lions?
I feel really proud. And it was put to me by a colleague of mine that said, you're not changing 650 children's lives here. With this outdoor classroom, you're changing thousands, 10,000s of future lives down the road.
Wow.
And that's what made my heartstrings really it's not about all the people coming in touring and saying, "Oh, you're doing a great job." It's not that. It's about the kids and what they get out of it and what happiness that brings to them. Maybe they're learning in a different way, which is really cool.
Absolutely, because we never saw that when we were growing up or when we were learning, and we didn't have that. We had a conventional classroom atmosphere, and there was a lot more strictness and rules and regulations and checks and balances. And this way, students, And when I had observed, students seemed a little bit more relaxed and free. So was that just an observation I made, or is that the way it is?
It's a way of life at Morris. Our students are always engaged. This is just another form of engagement. Is really, coming outside. The moment that they even breathe that fresh air. There's trees, there's plants, there's gardens, but just being outdoors is engaging in itself. The teacher will come out with an easel or even do like a reader's theater. Not that long ago, before our schools closed down for this pandemic, we had a few teachers coming out doing a reader's theater. The kids were acting out to this literature where our stadium seat was. They had their little, paper little hats, and it was exciting. They were all so motivated, and just the joy that you saw coming out of their pores was really inspirational.
And so I do have to add, you're very strong at Morris Elementary School with PBIS. You're very strong with the green initiatives, obviously putting Morris Elementary School on the map for some major state level awards, recognition, accolades. You find out in January 2020, it's embargoed, of course, whatever that means, right? Because now we're in a place where there are no celebrations that are, other than virtual. And then you were told in March that there was supposed to be something happening. It must be kind of a letdown to say, oh my God, this huge thing happens on our campus and nobody can celebrate it. So how do you explain that to your staff?
And Mr. Vasta and I have had conversations. He was so excited because he said, oh, you know what, Karla, we're going to get to go to Disneyland, get an award,
Yes.
It's going to be fantastic. I'm like, oh, awesome. And then this happens. But no matter what, we are excited, and I'm so proud of the work that we've done, and we are going to celebrate. There is going to come a time where we're going to be able to bring our community together. But for now, they're all aware. I send messages home. I post them on our website. I posted a video announcing our gold level status to our communities, and the feedback from the teachers and the students as well as parents has been fantastic. They're excited.
And that is very exciting. And for you as lead, like I keep mentioning, as an instructional support strategist, you have so many different responsibilities. What are some of the things that you do as well along the lines of green schools and how to motivate the teachers, and how hands are you with the students in that?
Well, the hands-on is, that's important. So I have a Saving Green Club that we created.
Saving Green Club?
It's called the Saving Green Club. We have about 300 students that join. And this is something they do during their lunchtime. So after they finish eating their lunch, they then get to, depending on what day, they meet me and we do lessons in the garden. Or we plant,
wonderful.
or we weed, or we learn why weeding's important, or why planting's important.
And there's 300 students
Yes.
involved in
Every
this?
grade level.
Yes, every grade level. They want to be in the Saving Green Club, and it's really cool, so, and they have this little permission slip, and the parents check whether or not we can take their pictures, and it's really fun for them. We make these little badges. They're made out of wood, and they're like little wood pieces.
And all the students get theirs?
They get to make theirs, and so they put little string on it and put their name on it.
Well, what's the
whole thing.
feedback? It seems like there's such a great buy-in,
Well,
much ownership.
I just think that it's positive. Okay, so when I think of the positive behavior intervention, right, the PBIS, I think about how this is really moving around in that direction where we're kind of, like where they say you're killing two birds with one stone, right?
Right. No, absolutely.
Right? So,
right.
so I think about something like that, and I think about how the PBIS and the environmental literacy really work together, but also through instruction. I've had a couple of days where we have students that they have some behavior problems, and it's like, well, Mrs. Guzman says, Mr. Vasta, you need to take care of this one, right?
Right, absolutely, because we're not suspending this anymore.
No,
we're going to find creative ways.
So we're trying ways, because I'm kind of that way in a sense where I can, talk to students, and so I'll take them on, like, let's go, have you seen this? Have you seen this garden over here? And we talk about the problems
Find
that they
different
might be having.
Oh, wonderful. So you're using that as a tool to maybe
Yeah.
assist with some behavioral issues.
Just a simple walk and talk, right?
Wow.
And it's just, but you're doing it, and then you're you're doing a little bit of education too, you know, because you're saying, did you know that, you know, that this flower here attracts butterflies, and right? And so
That's so much better than me having to go in the principal's office.
Yes.
Right.
And I'll tell
there.
you this much, Syeda, my assistant principal, myself, I mean, that's something that is part of our system at Morris too. You know, students are, if a student is sent up to us or a teacher calls us, we walk to that classroom. We go, we talk to the student outside. I mentioned we have gardens. Every teacher has a garden right in front of their classroom. So we sit down and I listen to them. My AP as well, she's listening to them. We walk around with them and we come up with some solutions. We bring up some, you know, some strategies at what's one way that you could have handled this situation. And that's how we really deal with discipline in a positive manner.
Wonderful. Now, Morris Elementary School, and I know we're talking about green school because it is a California Green Ribbon School gold level, and so, you know, stated by the CDE, the California Department of Education. So this is a really big deal. You don't have these that they throw around a lot. You know, you've earned it. But Morris is more than just that. There's also, along with literacy, environmental literacy, PBIS, it's a dual immersion school.
It is.
Dual language immersion.
We are a dual immersion school, kindergarten through 3rd grade right now. Next year we will have our 4th grade, and our students are doing fantastic. You know, they're truly becoming bilingual, biliterate. Our students are, last year, our 2nd grade students, we had many of them achieve pass the GATE tests. So a lot of our 3rd graders this year are also GATE identified. They've outperformed already some of our students in our regular instructional classes, but I'm very proud of the work that they're doing, and they're also being taught environmental literacy. They you know, in a different language, as well as English, but we are a dual immersion school as well, and I'm very proud of it.
Now, distance learning, this is our reality. It started right after spring break for us. So here we are, just shifting the conventional public education lifestyle as we know it for students, for teachers, for support staff, for administrators, for all of us across the board in Rialto Unified School District and the nation. What does a day look like for you? Do you have to go on distance learning, talk to teachers, kind of say, Mr. Vasta, here's what we're doing? Because nobody's really stopped. It's just changed and altered, right?
It sure has. My morning, you know, the first thing I do is I look at that email. You know, I have many parents, teachers, colleagues that ask questions, and together we work out through some solutions. So it's important to really support especially the parents, because they're constantly asking me questions about, let's say, a device they might need, or they don't have internet, or they don't understand, you know, certain things. So I want to make sure that we give them the support that they need. Our meetings are virtually done. We have staff meetings once a week, every Monday at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, the Google Classroom's going with the kids and the.
You know,
right.
I have a Google Classroom myself where the teachers, you know, I post information on there. The teachers log in, but you know, it's a different way of learning. But because we're a green ribbon school, we are also and a dual immersion school, we are also set in a place where we have many ways of learning, and this is just a new approach, a different approach, where all of our teachers, all of our staff have, you know, they've really done a great job of doing their best and continuing on with the teaching and the learning.
Now, as a teacher, Mr. Vasta, can you tell us a little bit about your background? How did you end up at Morris?
Well, let's see.
Oh, no. There's a loaded question.
I've been in the district a little over 18 years.
Wow.
I started in 2002 in the district, and as a 5th grade teacher.
Was it at Morris?
Over at Hugh Banks.
Hugh Banks, okay.
So I was at Hugh Banks, and I went down to Henry Elementary. Okay. Because it was a music VAPA school.
Right.
And ever since I was a kid, I played clarinet. Oh, wow. And so I can play any reed instrument, oboe, bassoon.
Oh, wow.
Clarinet,
See, we should have had all that here. You could have entertained us.
And so that's just something that I did. So I can read music, and so that was one of the interests that kind of drew me to that school. But after, you know, just different downsizing of classrooms and going from year-round school to traditional school again, just kind of got moved to different places. I worked over with, I met Mrs. Guzman at Curtis Elementary School. She was my
Oh.
assistant principal.
Okay.
And I taught 4th grade.
Okay.
And so that's when I started talking more and more and having a huge interest in project-based learning through the science department, doing the STEM academy
Oh,
pretty much
excellent.
in the
Right.
summers. And so that's where I took a big interest in, you know what, we can do more than what's in this classroom. We can do stuff outside the classroom. And so when I went to Morris Elementary, it just happened to fall upon my lap that, hey, you're the perfect person to kind of
Spearhead it.
push this along. And so
Well, it seems like you have such passion for it as well.
it's, I mean, it's just, it's grown. It's grown because I really had, when, you know, just like I said, when I first started, I had no idea. I mean, I had an idea, but I had like no idea what was
would
going
go
to,
this far.
where it was going to go. Yeah.
So that's interesting because that leads me to my next question for you, last and final question, and I'm going to talk to you in a minute here, Principal Guzman. What's next for Morris Elementary School? You have the gold level school for California Green Ribbon schools. What's next?
All right, next. Are you ready?
He already knows. When you do this and you're a teacher, we're in trouble.
We're excited to share with
Well,
you.
in our application, one of the things that we put in there was to design and have constructed a 65,000 square foot health and wellness area. And what this involves is an artificial track with natural trees grown inside with different dirt pathways going through this area with about 10 different workout stations, kind of like in a park, in a public park, you go to a different station and just kind of work out so the kids can do this during recess time.
Oh, wow.
And so it's like the biggest.
This is ambitious.
Oh, it's approved, but it's postponed.
Right.
So, and I'm hoping, I'm speaking to everybody here, I'm hoping that fall is, it's going to happen and we're going to be able to get things, you know, pushed through and done, because it's not about, you know, it's about the children and getting things for them, for their, I mean, that's the pillar number 2 to improving the health and wellness of our students.
Wonderful.
And to have that available during recess and for the teachers to take out for agility and whatnot, I mean,
Amazing.
I think it's a great next step.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, a veteran teacher of 18 years in the Rialto Unified School District. Thank you, Mr. Vasta, for being here. And my last question for you, and you can make it just short and sweet because I know you're going to give me a laundry list. Why, if you ask, if I'm a parent, I come into the Rialto Unified School District and I have wonderful elementary schools, because they all are, to choose from, why would I want to choose Morris Elementary?
Well, why wouldn't you want to choose Morris Elementary? That might be the question you want to ask yourself. But it's the best place to be at. And Mr. Vasta could attain to that. I've been there almost a year, and I'm very proud of the work that we've done. But it's a family. It's a feeling that you get when you walk in, and everyone's involved. No one person does one thing. We're all in this together. We are achieving great success academically through our positive behavior intervention supports. We're achieving great success through our dual immersion program, through just the collaboration between our staff, our parents. We have many volunteers.
And not to mention that little thing called environmental literacy that you're also pushing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So environmental literacy is a big initiative in our school in itself. It is integrated into our day. Not many schools can say that that's something that they have, but we have it at Morris Elementary every single day.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Principal Guzman. I appreciate it. Mr. Vasta, thank you for being here. I'm Syeda Jafri, and thank you for being here on RUSD Bridge.